Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be advice for those newly diagnosed with a chronic illness. I have 8 pieces of advice for this video, tips, whatever you want to call them. So if you've not done so already, hit the red subscribe button down below for more chronic illness content, because that's usually what I post. And give this video a thumbs up if you like videos like this. Other than that, let's just jump right in. So if you are new here, I am Jamie. I live with POTS, or postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, as well as some other undiagnosed illnesses. We are currently trying to figure out what they are, but for right now they are undiagnosed. So today I'm going to share with you the advice that I wish I would have been given when I was first diagnosed with POTS. If you are new here, I got sick when I was 16 years old. I am now 30, so I've been sick for 14 years. It took me 12 years to get the POTS diagnosis, even though there was a misdiagnosis in between that. So I have been diagnosed with POTS now for 1.5 years, and this is the advice that I wish I would have been given. And some of the stuff I did because it's just in my brain of how I function, so yes, but other pieces of other things in this video, stuff I just wish somebody would have told me. So okay, we're going to start with number 1, which is learn about your illness. When I was going through the whole process of trying to find out what was wrong with me and getting my diagnosis, I was Googling constantly. By the time it hit September, October, I was so sick and tired of going to doctors and trying to figure out what was wrong with me that I just gave up. So when I was officially diagnosed in January of last year, the first thing I did was learn about my illness. I wanted to know what POTS was. I wanted to know everything I could possibly know about it. And that is something that I highly recommend that you do if you are newly diagnosed. Because you can't advocate for yourself and help yourself if you don't know what your illness is. Number 2 is allow yourself to grieve. I did not do this. I never heard of this. It was like, okay, you have your diagnosis, now move on. And I wish I would have allowed myself to grieve my old life, the fact, because my life completely changed. And I don't see it ever going back to what it was. And I still have issues processing that sometimes, and I think it's because I didn't allow myself to grieve when I got my diagnosis. Like, I was so excited that I had a diagnosis and all that, but I didn't allow myself to grieve my old life and everything that was going to change because of my diagnosis. Number 3 is find a support group or a support system. I think within a week of me being diagnosed, I found a support group on Facebook or Instagram or something. Trust me, you need an outlet to where people who understand you and people are going through the same thing as you, because while I have a support system that's my family and my friends, they do not understand what I go through on a daily basis. So it is nice to have a group of people that understand what I'm going through. Number 4 is remember your mental health is important. I think this goes along with the grieving thing, because like I have struggled on and off my entire life with anxiety and depression, and you don't realize what a toll a diagnosis will take on your mental health And you've got to remember that you've got to take care of yourself mentally as well as physically. And I completely let the mental health part slide when I was first diagnosed, and I wish I hadn't. Number 5 is find a group of doctors that understand your condition. Like, for me, I got extremely lucky, and my primary care doctor understands my illness. So I didn't have to go find, and you don't have to go find all new doctors if you don't want to, but it's a lot easier to deal with a chronic illness when the doctors you are seeing understand what's wrong with you. Number 6, understand that you will have good days and bad days. When I was first diagnosed, I had been in a flare for almost a year. Nothing was helping, and I just didn't understand it. So when I started to feel better and started to have good days, it was like, okay, so I'm out of this. And then when I started to flare again and have bad days again, I was so pissed off at my body and so mad at myself, because it's like, what did I do wrong? And I didn't do anything wrong. It's just, that's how chronic illness works. Some days you have really good days, and other days you have bad days. Number 7 is find what helps you. This can be a medication, what ways you find to help yourself manage your mental health, exercise, whatever you want it to be. Because there is not a one size fits all approach for this. You're not going to, just because somebody else responded to something doesn't mean you are going to respond that way. And number 8, which is my last piece of advice, is don't stop advocating for yourself. I kind of did this when I was first diagnosed. After I'd got my diagnosis, I was thinking, okay, I don't have to fight for myself anymore. I fought for myself to get my diagnosis, and now I'm done and I don't have to anymore. And I was so wrong. You have to keep advocating for yourself as long as you are sick, as long as you are you're not going to fight as much as you did to get the diagnosis, but you are still going to have to fight and advocate for yourself no matter what. Because for me, I've had to see new doctors and different doctors and all that since getting my diagnosis, and if it wasn't for me being willing to advocate for myself, even though most of them gaslighted me anyway, it would have been a whole lot worse than if I would have went in there and not been prepared to advocate for myself. And I know, and it is easy to think, okay, I have the diagnosis, so I don't have to do this anymore. And that is so wrong. So that is 8 pieces of advice for someone who is newly diagnosed with a chronic illness. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you've not done so already, hit the red subscribe button down below, as I do post a lot of chronic illness content. And that is more of what my content is shifting to lately, because that's just where I'm at in my life. So other than that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.